Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will discuss about the systematic review, and I will also discuss about how we can use different AI tool to enhance the quality and the impact of our systematic review. And also I will talk about the PRISMA guideline. So what is systematic review? A systematic review is used to synthesize research evidence on a specific topic. A systematic review can save the time and resources for the researcher by summarizing the large amount of data, allowing them to quickly assess the relevant information without having to read every individual study. And it can provide policymakers with reliable data to formulate the health policies and allocate resource effectively. Now let's talk about the different type of systematic review. First one is traditional systematic review, which is a comprehensive synthesis of the research that answer a specific question. It's also include a meta-analysis for the quantitative data. Second one is the scoping review, which is a broad overview that map the existing literature and identified research gap without quality assessment. Third one is narrative review, which is a qualitative synthesis that provide the context and insight on a topic. But this review lacks the systematic methodology. Then meta-analysis, which is a statistical approach that quantitatively combines results from multiple studies to derive the overall effect size. Then rapid review, which is a streamlined timely review that address the urgent question with a focus on speed rather than comprehensiveness. Then umbrella review, which is a review of the multiple systematic review, which provide a broader perspective on a specific topic. Now the key step to conduct a systematic review. First one is to define a research question, the question that you are wanted to answer within your systematic review. Next one is to develop the review protocol. That is exactly what the method is, how you are going to be searching through different databases to find the relevant paper and the literature and the research that is going to answer. This could include the data extraction, limitation, inclusion and exclusion criteria, and everything like that. Third step is to actually start or conduct the search of multiple data from a databases and to identify the relevant study. You can possibly use this for your systematic review. The fourth step is to screen the study. Here you are looking for what you can pull out, and here you are saying that whether they are relevant for your review or not. Then you have to check the quality of the paper by using specific checklist such as PRISMA checklist, and then you can extract data and synthesize data from the included study and include this data in the form of graphs, tables or flowchart in your article, which show exactly what you found in your review. Last one is to present your finding. So this is the overview of the 7 steps for conducting a systematic review. So here I will discuss about all the steps in details, and I will also highlight the AI tool that you can use in this process. So the step number 1 is to define the research question. To do this, there are different methods, but the most useful method is PICO framework. Your research question should be specific, relevant, and answerable. The PICO framework is based on the idea population, intervention, comparison, and outcome. Let's take an example. Here the population is patient with diabetes. These are basically the group of people that you are looking for. This is your population. Your intervention is looking at machine learning model for predicting blood sugar level. Comparison is with a statistical method, and outcome is prediction accuracy. So here your PICO will be in patient with diabetes. How do we can compare the accuracy of the machine learning model with the statistical model, like which models are good, machine learning are better or the statistical models are better. So this is also your research question. This is the example for the quantitative research. So here if you are looking for the qualitative research, then it's changed slightly, and it's become PICO, but the O is just the small o, because here CO stands for the context, not for the comparison and outcome. So let's take an example. Here the population is healthcare professional. Intervention is the use of machine learning tool for patient care, and the context is looking at clinical environments such as hospital, healthcare facilities, where these professionals interact with technologies and patient. So here you can say that what are the experience of healthcare professional using machine learning tool for patient diagnosis and treatment. So PICO is a really nice way of developing a research question. Step number 2 is to develop your review protocol. So in this step, you need to generate a plan which include a search method, database, eligibility criteria, screening, and data analysis. The most important thing is to identify your keywords, your term, and the synonym, what you are actually going to input in the database. Remember that authors may use different words to describe a search concept. So you need to use a list of alternate words and synonym. If you fail to include all the relevant alternative terms in the search, you may miss out the relevant studies. So moreover, for developing a PRISMA protocol, we have to use the systematic review protocol. We have to use the PRISMA checklist, which is very important tool for the researcher. So now what is the PRISMA? PRISMA are basically the guidelines that was created to help and improve the transparency and quality of reporting in systematic review. The main goal of this checklist is to ensure that readers can easily understand what was done in a study, how it was done, and what's the finding are. So why the PRISMA is important? By following the PRISMA checklist, researcher can ensure a consistent approach in their systematic review. This consistency not only make it easier to compare different studies, but also help readers quickly understand the methodologies and results. So high quality reporting is very important in the systematic review. It's encourage better research practice and play an important role in preventing misleading conclusion. When we follow these guidelines, we can enhance the credibility and reliability of our finding, ultimately benefiting both the research community and the broader field of healthcare. So the PRISMA checklist consists of 27 items. The checklist is divided into several sections, each focusing on different aspects of a systematic review. First one is the title. Make sure the title reflects the nature of the review. Second one is the abstract. Include a structural summary that give an overview of the objectives, method, result, and conclusion. Then introduction, explain the background behind the review, clearly state the objectives. Next one is method. Method section is very important. Here you have to provide more detail. You have to provide the detail of the protocol and registration, also the criteria for selecting the studies, the information you have used, like which database you have used, the study selection process, data extraction process, data you have collected for each study's quality assessment, which methods you have used for quality assessment, and then the method you have used for the synthesis of your result. Then result. In the result, present the findings systematically. Summarize your data in the form of table, flowcharts, and different diagrams. In discussion, discuss the key finding of your results. Also discuss the limitation of your review and the strength of your review. Also discuss about the area for future research. Also, it is important to disclose any funding sources or the conflict of interest. When writing your systematic review, you can use the PRISMA checklist as a guide. PRISMA checklist is basically just like a recipe. You need all the right ingredient to make a good dish. Each item on the checklist encourages you to think about the important element that contribute to a high quality report. By following this checklist, you not only improve the quality of your work but also contribute to the overall integrity of the research. How you can identify more important keywords in search term? You can use different search engines. Here are the some important method and tools you can use during this process. First one is you can consult a librarian. You can use different search engines like different AI tool. You can use a different website. The most famous website is known as WordFrec. This is basically an AI tool which is designed to take a library of the article and output the most common words. Let's say you have downloaded 20 research paper that are you are thinking that these paper are the perfect and excellent for your research. You can include your library into this tool and it will pull out the most common used words. Once you have the list of the keywords, check that each search word add values to your search and check that whether these keywords should return the relevant result. If not, remove it from your search method and refine your search method again. So if you are working in the field of medical sciences, you can use mesh for improving the keywords. And mesh is basically a vocabulary that is developed by NCBI. So this is a very important tool that you can use if you are working in the field of biomedical research. It can streamline the process of the finding and organize the relevant information. Now what are some search limits that you can apply? When running a literature search for your systematic review, there are some limits that can be applied to ensure all the data is relevant to the research questions. These limits will refine your search and ensure that the results are relevant to your research question. Also, it is very important to mention any limit that you apply to the search in your methodology so that readers can understand how the search was conducted and what criteria were included or used to include or exclude the studies. You can consider different limits, such as you can apply the date limit. Date limit is basically the limit used to search the article, for example, you want to search the article that are published within a specific time period. This can be useful if you want to focus on more recent research or if you are interested in a specific time period. Also, the language limit. If you are conducting a review in a language other than English, or you may want to exclude article that are not in English language. Publication type limit. Limit the search to specific article that includes specific publication, such as randomized controlled trial, case studies, or review article. So when you are doing the search, you might say, I am interested in certain date, I am interested in English only, or I am interested in certain group of people or specific publication type or male or female. When you include any limit, please try to write down, because when you are doing that search and you are saying that you pull out 100 papers, but what are the limits you place to pull out those papers? Any limit you place, you have to write down what those limits are, and you have to mention about these limits in your systematic review. Now let's take an example. You can use these keywords to search article published between 2015 to 2014 in English language. Also, I found a really cool tool. You can use this tool. This is one of the fantastic tool that you can use. This tool can automate the process and generate your methodological protocol. So how this tool will work, I have created another video on this tool. You can watch my video on the YouTube channel. I will mention the link in the description below. Now step number 3 is conducting a comprehensive search. So there are 3 main approach for conducting a comprehensive search. First one is line by line approach. So here you are including each search term on a separate line. For example, hypertension, exercise, blood pressure. The second way is block by block approach, where you group related terms together in a single line. For example, in block 1, you are adding men and women. In block 2, you are adding exercise and physical activity. And in block 3, you are adding blood pressure and cardiovascular health. Third one is single line approach. In this approach, all the search terms are combined into a single line and connected by and or operator. For example, you might want to say hypertension or blood pressure and exercise or physical activity and blood pressure or cardiovascular disease. So this means that any paper you will pull out will contain all these keywords. So if you are using the single line approach, make sure to include all the search terms that you want to include in your review. The advantage of this approach is that you can quickly search multiple terms. Now, why we are using the search operator? In systematic review, we use different operator, like we are using the AND operator, OR operator, that are used to connect the search term. And these operators are the key for creating the complex literature search. It helps to ensure you are able to get all the relevant studies for your systematic review. So we can also use a NOT operator to exclude the specific search term. Quotation marks are basically used to ensure that search engine look for the exact phrases rather than individual keyword. This can ultimately increase the precision in your research. Then you have to test and refine the search. Like you have done your search few times and that is not really pulling out that required result or important result. Are you pulling out results that are not great, or some are okay and some are not that great? Or you want to refine the search, or and you have to think about how you can make your search better. Here are some questions that you can ask yourself, such as, can the result answer the review question? Are the result relevant? Are too many or too few results are being answered? Or the result pulling key articles? Have you used the correct syntax? Or there are spelling errors in the keywords? Have you combined your terms and concept correctly with by using OR and AND operator? So if you find that the search is not providing relevant result, be sure to make adjustment to your search term and run the review again. There is also a PRISMA checklist that you can use to review the search term and make possible adjustment. I will share the link in the description below. How to document the search? For each database you used to search the article, you should record the date the search was run, the database search, the name of the platform used to search the databases, your search method, any limit you use, such as the date, language, and the study design, publish search filter use, and the number of studies identified. So how you can search across a number of databases. Here are here are the example of some databases that you might want to use. The choice of the database for your systematic review will depend on the research question, topic, and the scope of the review. For example, if you are working on systematic review relevant to medical sciences, you can use database like PubMed, Google Scholar, and Medline. Medline is one of the most commonly used databases. I also found one AI tool that you can use for translating the search term from one database to another. I will also share the link of this tool in the description below. The most important thing is don't forget about the gray literature. Gray literature is the literature that is not published but also could be important, such as journal, books, or conference proceeding. So these are important to include if they are relevant and provide a valuable information. But you have to check the quality of this literature. Here are some factors to consider: when it has been published, where it has been published, author of the gray literature, check the method used in the gray literature, also check the result and conclusion. So these are the factors you have to think about when deciding on whether the gray literature are something you want to include in your systematic review or not. The fourth step is to screen your result for eligibility. So this process involves a systematic examination of all the included study to determine their relevance and eligibility for the inclusion in the review. So in this step, you need to include another person to reduce the risk of bias. Screening process involves 3 steps. First one is pre-screening, second one is title and abstract screening, and third one is full text screening. So there is a diagram called PRISMA diagram, which is used to record the search result. I will share the link of PRISMA diagram with you. It is actually a really good tool. You can use the one that is most relevant to you. It maps the number of records identified, included, and excluded, and the reason for exclusion. Also, there is one app known as Shiny app that you can use to develop your own PRISMA flow diagram. I will share the link of the Shiny app in the description below. So this is going to be the evidence of your search process. Here in the PRISMA diagram, you can clearly see identification, screening, included. Here you can see how many studies are included from different databases, how many were excluded, how many duplicates were found, the reason for the exclusion, how many were removed, and here you can see the total included studies in the review. For this step, you can use the Ryan tool, which is an innovative web-based AI tool that transforms the way we conduct the systematic reviews, especially during the screening process. I will share the link of the Ryan tool in the description below, and I will also make another video on the Ryan tool. You can watch that video as well. This tool actually allows you to easily import references and categorize a study with just a few clicks, marking them as include or exclude. What I really love about the Ryan tool is how it facilitates collaboration. You can work with co-author in a real time and making it easy to share the insights and decision. Plus, the user-friendly interface means you don't need to be expert to use it. One important feature of this tool is blind screening, which helps to reduce the bias by keeping your decision independent. This is particularly important when managing large volume of literature and ensuring that your review process is transparent and reproducible. This tool not only streamlines your workflow but also enhances the quality of your research. Step number 5 is you want to analyze the quality of your study. So this is where you look at how good those papers actually are. Also, at the strength and weakness and any bias that may be implicated in that particular research. So here is another very cool AI tool that allows you to visualize the risk of bias. I will share the link of this tool in the description below. In this tool, you have to upload your data and you have to generate the risk of bias assessment diagram. You can also use the checklist called case checklist. This checklist will investigate three key area of the systematic review. All the result of the study valid, what are the result, and will the result help locally. So the next step is to extract the data and synthesize your data. So you got all these paper, you pull out all the result, all the important information. Now you want to synthesize the data, you extract it. This will allow you to develop and extract different themes and patterns, relationships that are formed across different type of studies. So if you are someone who are doing qualitative systematic review, you might think about some themes. The main difference between the qualitative and quantitative systematic review is with quantitative systematic review, you are looking at numbers, data, state, whereas in the qualitative systematic review, you are looking at non-numerical data, thematic analysis, or in-depth understanding. So, the goal of a quantitative systematic review is to combine and evaluate data from multiple studies to draw conclusion about the outcome and effects. For the meta-analysis of the quantitative paper, you might need to represent your data in the form of forest plot. For the qualitative systematic review synthesis, you have to think about generating codes and labeling your ideas and think about the themes and then reflecting on them and reviewing them to make sure that they are accurately reflect the data. There are some other methods that you can also use for qualitative synthesis that include the framework, grounded theory, narrative analysis, and meta-ethnographic. So the last but not the least step is to present your finding. It is recommended to follow the PRISMA statement to ensure that the report is transparent and comprehensive. So there are 8 to 9 sections, and this include title, introduction, method, result, discussion, conclusion, references, and appendix. And this include additional information such as data extraction, quality assessment tool used in the report, summarize the hypothesis and what you are actually finding. So in the systematic review, the most important thing is to make sure that when writing a systematic review, to make sure that it is conducted and reported in a transparent and accurate way. So thank you very much for listening to this lecture. See you in the next video.